Welcome to the Fish Game Tank Contest. Fish Game is an amazing game that I've been working with for months now, like, I don't even know, it feels like a year now, but it probably hasn't been a year now, where you can build your own aquariums from scratch. You unlock new fish, new decorations, everything, the whole works. It's awesome. It's a great game. Trust me, very good game. You should try the game. Now, they have sponsored once before us doing a Fish Game aquarium contest, and they decided that it went well, and so we're going to do it once again. And so for the past few weeks, people have been creating their best fish tanks in Fish Game for us to review and choose a winner. Now, a couple days ago, I made a tank in Fish Game. That is not, is that the final tank? That is what I submitted? Oh my god. Okay, well, this was the final tank that I submitted. We're going to say that this is a 5. We're setting this as the medium point. So if I rate your tank less than a 5, it is worse than this. And if I rate it better than a 5, it is better than this. This is the measurement of quality that we are going on for today. Let us begin the competition. 24 people have submitted their best fish tanks made in Fish Game for me to review. In order of who submitted them, first up we have Fiverr. Big fan of mosses, grasses, and ferns. Wanted to emulate a sort of meadow clearing setting in the game, crossed with a Zen garden. Wow. Big Talk. What does the tank actually look like? It's quite pretty. That is a pretty goldfish. My god, just like a black and white goldfish. Okay. I will say the substrate is a little boring. Brown is fine, but the brown is like, I don't know, it's so opaque and monotone. The stones are really cool. If you guys haven't played the game, these are all like individual stones. That's one of the amazing things about the game, is there's just a lot of little pieces you can put together. Little pieces of wood, little pieces of rock, little pieces of plant that you can put together. So this is not like a stone structure that's just in the game, this whole thing. This is like they individually went about this and took like rock by rock to build this, which is pretty cool if you ask me. All right, Fiverr, I'm going to go ahead and give your tank a 6. Your tank is definitely better than my tank, but I think we're going to probably going to top that today, because we've seen some real interesting tanks in the past. Last time we had this giant tree submission. It was incredible. We'll see what we get today. Lucy, this is a bridal shiner tank with over 80 shiners. Now that's pretty cool. I am obviously biased towards bridal shiners. I've got one on my wrist, and Fish Game added them to the game specifically for me. I did not manage to find them, though. I had talked to Gordon. He said that they were quite rare in the game, and this person said the same thing. They tend to be rare. However, I opened community comments to see 61 shiners altogether. That's awesome. I never found bridal shiners, so my tank just had 3 arowanas in it instead. Let's see what this person did with their bridal shiner tank. Holy crap. Now that is a beautiful tank. And this is a real display of what I'm talking about, where like this wood is separate from this wood, is separate from this wood, is separate from, like, these are all individual pieces of wood. All of these plants are individual. I think these rocks are one big rock, just like really scaled up. But my god. Wow, and you can see all the bridal shiners swimming around. They're so beautiful. I wonder how many people did bridal shiner tanks. Wow. Seeing the whole thing, I didn't even know they had... Oh, that's right. As you level up in the game or you get more experience, you can unlock different tank shapes. So you can unlock these like stream tank things, which are perfect for bridal shiners. I mean, this is like a gorgeous natural bridal shiner environment. This is what I would have created, basically, given the opportunity, where you would have some flow coming right to left, and you have the plants going up and the rocks and the wood. I mean, yeah, this is like a natural bridal shiner environment. Maybe not the rocks so much. Well, I don't know. Depends on the stream. They can be adaptable. But the wood and certainly the thick plant life, they would absolutely love that. I think it's a little early on the second one, but I think I'm going to give it a 9. Because I think that's quite beautiful. I'm gonna give it a 9. I think this is a beautiful tank, and it uses my favorite fish, so I can't really argue with that. Next up, we've got Pag, and I would like Bashirs. Bashir. This is a type of tank I'd like to create: a river out of rock, a river with rock walls and a little sand floor and cave. This is pretty. What the hell is this fish? I've never seen this fish before. That's an interesting looking fish. Looks like a wrasse of some sort. I like the sand. The rock wall is really cool. That's not a background prop, right? This person had to like individually place all of those rocks to make that. And it looks like they made a little cave down here. Yeah, there's a little cave over there. I will say the repeating plants make the tank feel a little not cookie cutter. Maybe that's not the word, but just like it's the same pattern where it's like kind of symmetrical, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I don't think it looks very good to have the 4 in a row. It looks like planters along the walkway into a Chinese restaurant, which admittedly is beautiful. But as far as a tank goes, I feel like more plant diversity would have helped you here. But it's a cool design, and I especially love the rock back wall. Assuming that's not built into the game, that's something you built piece by piece. That's pretty impressive. I will give this a 7. All right, next up we have Kokoro. Neon Tetra. My tank is large, massive even for these little cuties. I do apologize for the low quality images. I have a hard time with the camera and movement system. Fair enough. Whoa. Oh, this person has rocks on the sidewalls. Now, see, that's tough because it does not look aesthetically pleasing. Like me looking at this right now, these like rocks cut on the sidewall just don't look aesthetically pleasing. But they're really cool functionality. Like a lot. Oh, look at the little tetras. A lot of fish like to swim under and on those, so it's a really cool thing to have. Oh, look at you. Pretty parts of the tank. I do like the substrate. I'm biased towards black substrate. Oh, we've got a video. Okay, full screen not working. That's fine. Yeah, so see, like, it's a pretty tank. I don't know. Everything feels kind of like laid about randomly. Like you found a bunch of plants and rocks and stuff that you liked and just kind of put them everywhere. Which is fine, and I do like the rocks on the walls. I'm coming around to it. It's ugly to look at, but like, yeah, like this angle, that angle there, that's what you should have taken the photo of the tank from, where you can't see the cut off parts of the rock. That's beautiful. When you have all the floating rocks on the side, that looks actually really cool. Big fan of that. However, the tank does just kind of feel like a bunch of random stuff everywhere. So I'm going to give it a 6. Mazy Days. Grave of Giants is a living diorama that depicts a submarine trudging the depths and stumbling upon the skull. What? This one has lore. There's a submarine. There's a buried skull. The submarine is going down to find that. I mean, that's pretty cool looking. How is the submarine floating? Is that a thing you could just do? Is it the exact density of water and it just floats there? I like the use of the skull. Usually when there's a skull in a tank, I don't typically like it. Oh, look at that cinematic angle. I actually like the use of the skull here. I think it looks really good in this tank. This is an interesting tank. It's a cool design. I don't think it's anything crazy. I'm gonna give it a 7. Next up, we've got Connor. Connor, I believe, submitted 2 tanks, but this is the one that I thought was the really cool one. Look at this. This is dead trees on a riverside. All of these rocks are individual rocks that they put there. Then they put together, I think these are separate wood structures from the other ones with these really cool dead ones. And then this is the blue, light blue substrate. They made it look like a river in the center. I really like this tank. I think this is a really cool design. However, you submitted 2 different tanks and told me to pick one, which you lose points for. Be confident in your choices. Also, the river tank is so good, and this tank is not as good. You should have just picked, if you had confidently picked the river tank, I would have given it like an 8. But since you did both, I'm giving it a 7. Be confident in your choices. All right, God of Lurker. Describe your tank and your inspiration for it. They put pond tank. I was inspired by a pond. That's very good. Okay, that is a pond tank inspired by a pond. Thank you, Lurker. Yeah. I mean, it's a pond tank inspired. It looks like a pond with the rock starting to slow. It looks like one of those like lakes, artificial lakes where they dammed it. And then you've got like the rocks sloping down into the center and the plant life coming up. Nothing crazy. I'll give it a 7. Sebastian, a Wagumi tank with 3 beautiful placat bettas. Okay. Very simple tank. I will say if you're going to go with something this simple where you've just sort of got that grass substrate and a rock in the middle, you probably shouldn't use the water lettuce on top. I think that like adds an asymmetry to the tank. Like you've got so much dead space here that this adds an asymmetry that I think takes away from it. Also doesn't help that the water lettuce is a little bit cut off. I think this tank would be, if you're going for minimalism, you take that out and this could be potentially pretty. As is, I think it's fine. This is a pretty simple tank. I think I'm going to give this a 5. This looks like, yeah, this looks like a real life betta tank. I think it's about the quality of mine. I'll give it a 5. Oh, that's true. It's not small enough to be a real life betta tank. Next up, we've got Philip. Ranchu tank in Chinese style with some darker plants. Okay, now that's pretty. That is a clever use of the sloping here. There are a lot of goldfish in there, but we won't worry about stalking because it's a video game. We don't have to worry about it. Though I think you do have to worry about it in-game because the game's quite realistic, and if you put too many fish in there, they are going to be unhappy. But this is quite pretty. This is quite pretty. I do like this tank. I think these like monument type things can sort of be cheesy. Like these decorations in fish tanks can kind of be cheesy. But the way this one's done, where it's sort of the centerpiece, it transcends water and air to, you know, come out of the water here. And it's at the top of the slide. I think it actually works really well because the whole tank is themed around it. When you take a decoration, you throw it just into a tank, I think it tends to look ugly. But when the tank is themed around, I think this looks really good. I think it's a cool tank. I'm going to give it an 8. I don't think it's better than the Bridal Shiner tank, but it is quite good. Next up, we've got Amy. With the I wanted to see fish suffer was their inspiration. Oh God. How does the game let you do this? Are those peacock bass? Is that a one? How did you do this? How does the game allow this? They don't even fit in the water. Don't talk to me or my son or my son's son or my son's son's son ever again. This one's just not even in the water. Not even by a pixel. I mean, I will say this is probably the most unique tank that we will see today. This is probably the most unique tank we will see today. Right? Like everyone else is... How? What is this? Okay, the other ones were barely in the tank. This dude is... They're just making a ladder now of fish. I'm not giving it a 10. I can't dethrone people who actually worked really hard on really nice tanks. Quantum bass. But this is a really cool tank. I will give it an 8.5. I am impressed with the limits. This is something I would have done. I'm actually upset that I didn't think of this first, because the first thing I did when playing Fish Game was trying to come up with a way to break the game when it was first came out. So congratulations on doing so successfully. Icy. My 150-gallon planted tank, 30 rummy nose tetras, 7 marbled angels, and 5 common autos. Wanted something like this big hardscape in the middle. Wow, that's pretty. Okay. I do really like the hardscape in the middle. I think symmetry is underrated in aquascaping, and I think having some like big hardscape in the middle and then plants around the outside is a really good way to make a pretty symmetrical, aesthetically appealing tank. I also love... Is this the new substrate? I haven't had the chance to play since the new update just came out a few days ago. Is this the new update where there's the gravel substrate, or has this always been in the game, or been in the game for a while? It's really cool either way. Sort of the mixing of the dirt and gravel substrate. I can imagine doing this on sand. It would look really, really cool. That's the slate substrate. It's so cool and it's new. That's awesome. Yeah, this is really cool. Wow. Well, if you want to play the game now, there's new substrates, so shout out to that. It looks awesome. I think and imagine the things you can do. I've already criticized, I think the first submission, I criticized the lack of diversity where the substrate was just this one brown color. And look, this person fixed it by adding the rocky, gravelly slate texture to it. So that's pretty awesome. I like the tank. Oh, yeah. I love tanks that are longer than they are tall, which I guess is everything pretty much that's not a cube or one of those stupid tall tanks. But just like extra long tanks just look good. Not a fan of angelfish, but that's okay. I won't show my bias. I do like autos. Autos are very cute. I will give this tank an 8.5. I think this is a really good tank. I don't think this compares to the bridal tank, only because of its sheer size and aesthetic pleasingness. But I like the hardscape in the center. I like the design. It's very pretty. Shy. The tank is a 700 something above ground goldfish pond. Okay, we've got another goldfish pond here. Oh, wow. Wait, so there's tanks in the game that are 700 gallon, but they're shallow? Wait, that's awesome. I've never seen this type of tank. Oh my God, wait, I want this type of tank. This with plants and bridal shiners in real life would go so hard. This makes me want one of those in real life. Like, I'm appreciating your tank and fish game, but this makes me, this game is dangerous, man. This is making me want to get like a tabletop. Oh, this is so cool. Where it's only like a foot of depth, but it's just like room size tank. You custom made the tank size for it. That's awesome. This is really cool. Well done. Well done. This is a really cool tank. I've never seen one of that shape. It's definitely a very unique tank for this competition. Wow, look at it from the top. Wait, I didn't even give you enough credit for the depth in this tank. From the top, you can tell so much more how detailed this tank is. Holy crap. All the individual pieces of driftwood. It looks like this rock is overhanging. These are all separate rocks. This is incredible use of plants. Like, this is what I was talking about earlier when that one tank just had a couple of the same species of plant lined up. This is how you create, like, depth with plants. I mean, there are some areas that are a monoculture, but in general, holy crap. Wow, yeah, the depth within the plants, just like the level green, that is incredible. That is a really good angle. If you didn't include this angle, if I'm just looking at this angle, I probably give it like an 8. But seeing that top-down angle, I don't know. I think this might be in first right now. This might beat out the Bridal Shiner tank. If this tank had Bridal Shiners in it, it would be near perfect for me. This is an incredible tank. The caves and everything, oh my god. This is impressive. I think I'm going to give it a 9.1. This is in first place right now for me, which is crazy. I'm dethroning the tank full of my favorite fish. All right, next up we've got Kitty, dragon mythology with plenty of leaf cover and hiding spots. Now this is what I mean where, like, even though the tank is themed around it, sometimes look, this is a great example. This is the exact same decoration as that other tank, but notice how it just kind of doesn't look right. For one, the tank is really vertically and horizontally asymmetrical, which is fine. You can have asymmetry, it's not necessary. But, like, see, the rocks are against the glass here. These things I feel like stack with a gap that I don't particularly like. The plant life is kind of simple. I think it's a good tank. It's a cute tank. If I saw this in real life, this is how spoiled we are by Fish Game. Where, like, if I see this tank in real life, I'm like, holy crap, you know, that's like an 8. But in Fish Game, I think this is like a 6. I don't think there's anything particularly unique. I think it is nice. I see what you were going for. I think the dragon coming out of the water is cool. I like that you can make decorations go out of the water, but it makes it a little too wonky seesaw for me. Next up, we've got Gar Bear. The fish name is Sandwich. Tank has a stone wall separating it into an open middle with a heavily planted side and a sliver with some tall plants. Okay, first picture is fish. Second picture is... Whoa, that's a cool fish. All right, let's get the front view. Wow. Now this is the kind of tank that you see in like an aquarium store and you're like, holy crap, they're good at aquascaping. Like, this is the kind of... this is realistic to real life that you could maintain a tank look like this. It looks so good. What a beautiful tank. This is what I want my tank to look like. Live plants everywhere. Absolutely gorgeous. I love these little pots. I've come around to them. I used to think I'd never liked anything artificial in a fish tank, but I've come around on them and I think I actually do like them now. I love the ground cover. I think it could be a little more complete. It might look good, but maybe it wouldn't. I'm not sure. The way you've built up the rocks is crazy, though. Knowing that basically each one of these rocks is its own individual structure, and you've created this, like, beautiful crescent upon which there are plants. Magnifique. Absolutely beautiful. That's an 8.5. Next up, we've got Moon Dance. My first attempt at a large-scale natural tank with a bit of a floating island vibe. Oh, and this one has a video. All right. Floating island. Wow. Okay. But they're sharks. Okay, so the whole tank comes up to... Oh, wow. The use of the skulls with the plant coming out of them to make eyelashes. There's a beautiful central island. Oh, and it comes out of the water totally. And then it's got a root system going under it that the fish can swim around in. Wow, that is really cool. So the island isn't just coming up in the center, which would have made the tank, I think, maybe look not that great. The island actually has roots coming down, and it is floating with roots. Wow. The plant life looks really cool. For something about the plant life is throwing me out. I think it might be a lack of deep green, so like the colors feel a bit warm. But it's pretty cool. I love the floating island in general. Just the concept is really good. This is a really cool tank. Really well executed of a cool idea. Coming out of the water and everything's cool. I will say it's like a little bit cluttered. I think in real life this would probably look really good, and like you could entertain a kid or a cat with this for years, but I think it might look a little bit cluttered as far as fish game goes. I'm still giving it an 8.5 though. There's some great submissions here. All right, next up we've got Newt, a 697-gallon square-ish tank called Emerald Cove. Whoa! Holy crap! This doesn't even look like it belongs in fish game. This is so cool. Wow, look at the plants on the surface, the aesthetic of that. Yeah, this looks insane. Look at this fish too. I've never even seen this fish in the game. And then you've got this like beautiful emerald. I don't know if it's just the lighting, but the monument here, the little fish to add a little bit of depth. I like the green here, how it's not quite symmetrical, but it's attempting to be. Oh, the black on the edges is really cool. I think the use of light is the most incredible thing here. Yeah, the lighting, I think, is the most incredible thing. How the light comes from above. I mean, this is something you'll only see in fish game, right? Like, there's other aquarium building games, but where will you see a game realistic enough that when you build an overhang, individually, by the way, out of stones, that it decreases the lighting on the edges to create this depth of field effect and creates this beautiful light on top with the shadows coming down on, like, a central figure. Like, this is something that no other game is doing. This looks so cool. That's an incredible use of the game's engine. Oh god, is this better than the flat tank? This is so simple. It would feel crazy to dethrone a tank that had so much detail, but this is like so well executed. Oh, this is so well executed. I don't know. I might have to have chat vote between those two. It's a tie. It might be a tie right now. This might be another. You know what? I'm giving it a 9.1. I'm giving it a 9.1. I think, chat, you guys might have to vote later if nothing beats those two. All right, next up we've got Spider Claw, a classic chatter of mine. Did not know they played fish game, but they made a beautiful tank. Shout out Spider Claw. I like that design where it's that low of that shallow of a tank with that much depth. It's pretty. I will say the plants feel a little bit randomly arranged. I think the hardscape looks good though, and I like the tank design overall. I'll give it a 7. All right, next up we've got Chaff, my tank that I've referred to as the sinkhole. Whoa, wait, what? So there's a layer of stone floating, and then there's a layer below. Wow, look how they use the substrate though. Can we talk about the substrate, how well done that is? There's so much depth in that substrate. Oh, so the rocks are stood up by like roots and other rocks and stuff. So there's a multi-layer. I mean, I think this is a really cool idea for a tank. The whole multi-layered thing where you've got like multiple floors of a building that the fish can swim between. I think that's really a really cool idea for a tank. I don't think this is dethroning either of the ones we've seen though. I'm going to give this an 8 though. This is a really nice tank. All right, next up we've got Cosmo. Inspired by the beautifully diverse swamp biomes around the world. Whoa! Oh my god, wait. We may just have another incredibly executed packed tank. Oh, it's gonna be hard to get a good view of this one though. Oh, the arowana in there is so cool. Oh, okay, wait, there's a video. There's a video. Maybe the video will give us a better perspective. Oh my god, the video is so small. Bro. Okay. It's a little bit low quality, but it's okay. Wow, look at that. This is a really cool tank. They even, in a previous competition, we had a tank all built around this like one tree that someone built. And this tank has the tree and it's not even the main focal point of the tank. Wow, this really does look like a swamp. This looks like a New Jersey peat swamp. I would see this while adventuring. Or in like Malaysia, I feel like I've seen similar ecosystems. Arowana going into the grass right there is so cool. Wow, this is beautiful. And the tank coming out of the side, and the tree coming out of the side. Oh god. Do we have another one to add to the list? Yeah, we may have a whole ass bracket by the end of this one. I don't think I can dethrone this one. This one's incredible. Yeah, I think we're giving this a 9.1, and we now have 3 tanks tied for first. And we're going to have a vote off at the end. All right, next up, we've got Pabluke. I'm fascinated by the historical relationship between goldfish and koi and dragons. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Pretty simple tank. Some rocks, some goldfish. I like the orange plants. I think green plants would not make sense here, but going with only the warm colored plants is really cool. Works well. Give the tank a 6. Simple. We move on. Next up, Rayman. Sunken submarine and Finding Nemo left an impression. Okay. So they built the tank. I like the idea of this. The half-buried submarines in the sand. The crashed submarines. I don't know what it is. This particular rock, is it just me, chat? I don't like this rock. Like, I could maybe see how it would work, but I feel like these layerings look too chaotic and asymmetrical to, like, work in any... I've not seen them work in any particular way in a tank. I could be wrong, though. I'm not sure. But the tank's still quite cool. And I like the use of the red substrate. Its texture is bizarre. Yeah, it's tough. All right, I'll give that a 6.5. Next up, we've got Jordan. Just a dream tank if I could ever afford it. A tank that fits me as a person. Okay, that's a pretty cool tank. I like the use of the substrate with the texture to it. Plants are a bit sporadic and random, which I've criticized a bunch of tanks for. Honestly, the hardscape feels a bit sporadic and random too, but hey, if it's your tank, if it's your soul, you do what you like. I'll give you a 6. Next up, we've got Mipe. I love the creeks around my location and based a tank off of them. Ooh, we've got some native tanks. Whoa. Cool. This does look like a local creek to me. If these were sloped a little bit. But yeah, these pebbles look like they'd be on the bottom. There'd be some flow going front to back. Yeah, this looks like a local stream. This is very pretty. This looks like an American stream bed. Not these fish, of course. I don't think you'd find them in American stream bed, but... Wow, and look at that. Oh, how it comes above the wall. That makes it look so cool. All of the debris on the side here. Wow. The level of detail. Chat, if you have not played Fish Game, you probably cannot understand this. This rock right here is an individual object. This is an object that the person had to find in the game, put in their inventory, place in their tank, rotate properly, and then set it up there. Just that rock. This rock here is also that. This rock here is different. This rock here is different. This piece of wood is different than this rock, than this rock, than this rock, than this rock. Like, this is insane. Every plant is different. Like, the level of... This is ridiculous. Just the level is insane. That's crazy, the level of detail. I am going to have to draw the line, though. I don't think this is a 9.1. I think this is a 9. I don't think this one's in the runoff at the end. I think it's very beautiful, but I'm not doing a 4-way tie. I don't think it's quite the level of the other ones. All right, we have our last tank, Lord Hosh. All right, a 3,300 gallon monster tank that I would like to have to real life. If you could rotate plants upside down and have lots of fish together, that would normally be a bad idea in real life. Okay. Also made a video for my tank, but it's a little too large to submit. Great. We love a video. Oh my god, I have a lot of tabs open from everyone's images. 3,000 gallon with its own soundtrack and video. This is a tank? Wait, how did you do this in Fish Game? Why is there a sky? That has to be photoshopped. Oh, okay, this is not in Fish Game. I was like, what? Oh, the plants are upside down. They're like, oh my, I was gonna say stalactites, but I don't want to be wrong because it might be stalagmites. Look at the intricacy. There's a stream bed running through the middle with waterfalls. Bridal shiners! They included bridal shiners! Wait, the use of the lights on this plant here looks so cool. Oh, there's too much going on. What do I pay attention to? This tank is fuck. How does your computer run this? Some statistics about the fish tank. 3 years in game. 700 keeper experience. Game crashes 50? Dude, look at the list of plants! That's not my logo, so that doesn't get any points. If that was my logo, it gets points. Bridal Shiner! So cute! So cute! This is an insane tank. Yeah, the tree is awesome. Oh, there's a cave in the rocks, too. Can I say something brave, chat? Can I say something crazy? This tank is insane, but I feel like it's not as... What is the word? Not concise. Concise is the wrong word because that sounds like I want it to be smaller. There's just so many ideas going on at once, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Coherent might be the word. There are so many ideas going on at once that it's like, I don't know. I feel like, and this is just a personal preference, I think I prefer having an idea and executing it, like it doesn't even have to necessarily be a theme, but just like something you're going for and executing it really well over just like having a ton of ideas. But the thing is, this is really cool. It does feel a little cluttered, but it's like, if you're gonna be cluttered, this is as good as it gets. Like, this is a really, you know what, I'm gonna give it a 9.1. We're gonna tie it, and we're gonna have a 4-way vote for who wins, because my god, there were some incredible competition today. These are your 4 competitors. They are competing for a free copy of the DLC, as well as a name of their choice being permanently added to Fish Game. These are the submissions. We've got, what did I call this? Shallow Organized Cave Tank. This beautiful tank with incredible depth of plants. Shallow tank, incredibly well organized, beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, multiple caves present. We've got the Emerald Tank with this beautiful emerald cove, using the game's lighting incredibly to just create this absolutely gorgeous, aesthetically pleasing yet simple design. We've got the Swamp Tank, absolutely incredibly well organized with so much depth, and the plants all put together really well, not overdoing it, but creating an incredible tank that resembles a lot of really cool areas. And then we've got the absolutely massive 3,000 gallon tank with so many different themes and ideas going on that you could probably spend a year just exploring the tank, learning everything there is to learn in there. Who is your champion, chat? I will continue to cycle through them as you decide. You can type the number of the tank that you are voting for, 1, 2, 3, or 4. The numbers are on screen. Wow, okay, right now Swamp Tank and the Shallow Organized Cave Tank are getting the most votes. That's interesting. I did not expect the Swamp Tank to do that well. I mean, this is a beautiful tank, don't get me wrong, but I was not expecting this many votes for it. Wow, it is a dead tie between the Shallow Organized Cave Tank and the Swamp Tank. These two in a dead tie. It looks like the Massive Tank will not be winning. Thank you for competing, Lord Hosh. So the Emerald Tank theoretically might still have a chance. You know what? We'll do runoffs. For the sake of adding some intrigue, we're going to do runoffs, chat. All right, so next up, we have eliminated the Giant Tank. We've got Swamp Tank, Cave Tank, and Emerald Tank. And it will be down to the final 2. Maybe now that the Massive Tank is not in the competition anymore, the Emerald Tank will get more votes. The Emerald Tank and the Cave Tank tied the underdog here. Swamp Tank clearly in the lead, but Cave Tank and Emerald Tank splitting votes. Who knows? When one of them is eliminated, maybe the other voters will combine and outdo Swamp Tank. It's pretty close. I'm going to leave it for a bit, see who votes. Right now, it's looking like Emerald Tank, this guy, will come out on top over Cave Tank. Swamp Tank probably secure in their lead. All right, if you have a vote, now is the time to get it out. I'll give it another 30 seconds. If not, Cave Tank will be eliminated. All right. Congratulations on 3rd place to the Cave Tank, this beautiful guy right here. And with that, we are on to our final 2. Who wins, chat? Is it the Swamp Tank or is it the Emerald Tank? Let me show you both options. You've got this beautiful swamp, realistic Swamps all across the world happily represented, or you've got this incredible simple tank. I mean, I think this is what it comes down to in fish game, is your preference, really. This is like a minimalist, perfectly executed idea versus just like so much incredible depth and detail. Which do you think is the winner, chat? Who did the best? It is somewhat close. It could still swing either direction. We're getting more votes than we've had before. If the next few votes are for the Emerald Tank, it could still theoretically be tied. Oh, all the recent votes are for the Emerald Tank. Emerald Tank is catching up. Does anyone else have their vote left to use? If you have not yet used your vote, oh, and someone comes in to use their vote and vote for the Swamp Tank, that is probably going to put the Emerald Tank out of the running. Though someone comes in to use their vote on the Emerald Tank, if you are in chat right now and you have not voted, you can influence this competition. Multiple people coming in to give their vote to the Swamp Tank. With 37 votes in, it seems pretty unlikely at this point that the Emerald Tank is going to make a recovery. All right. Seems pretty unlikely that the Emerald Tank is going to make a recovery, and I think we can officially crown the Swamp Tank as our winner. Congratulations. I did not expect this tank at all to win. Cosmo. I believe Cosmo was in chat earlier. Cosmo, congratulations. You are the winner of the contest. Your name, Cosmo, will be in the game forever. And you will get a free copy of the DLC that is upcoming. So go ahead and message one of the developers. They'll get you your free DLC in the future when that comes about. Thank you, everyone, for competing. Congratulations to everyone featured. You guys all did great. Claps all around.